Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of Creative Crossover. This is the show where I interview someone working in a creative field and have a conversation with them about what they do, how they do it, and more importantly, why they do it. So before we get into today's show, as always, please do connect with me on social media. It's at Jack Spedding, which is JAKSPEDDING. Reach out, tag a few of your friends or a few people that you would like to see on the show, and hopefully we can grow the show from there. Anyway, today's guest is Nikki Hesford from the Business Academy, and she provides marketing support to SMEs. So, hi Nikki, and welcome to the show. Just to start, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, please?
Yes, certainly. So I am Nikki Hesford. I was on Dragon's Den many years ago with a business which manufactured clothing, swimwear, lingerie for bigger busted ladies. So I got private investment from there and built that business over the course of from 2007 through to exiting in 2015. And during that time, I obviously had to learn a lot about growing social media, marketing, PR, kind of doing that ourselves at the beginning when we didn't have the budget to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
After exiting that company, I've now set up an agency and set up events which show the people how to do it for themselves, because I know how it is at the beginning of your business when you don't really know how to do it, but every time you ask somebody, they want several £100s minimum. So it's kind of to address that need of people who might only have £50 or £100, but nobody will help them for that amount of money.
Right, cool. So first up, we're going to have a quick fire round so we can get to know you a little bit better. iPhone or Android? iPhone, cool. That was very quick. There was no thinking about that one.
Is there anybody Android anymore?
Weirdly, I didn't think there was, but I'd say 80% of the people I've interviewed have been Android.
Wow. Yeah, I find it really bizarre when I get a green text message.
Yeah, even design people are like, yeah, I use Android. What? But yeah, apparently that's a thing still. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
But
I only discovered Netflix like 4, 5, 6 weeks ago or so. I had Sky. I was like a hardcore Sky fan for years, and then we got fibre, so I ditched Sky, went to Netflix, and now I've lost like 36 days of my life.
Yeah. There is that problem, isn't there? Work hard or play hard?
Both.
Cool. Text or call?
Text.
Love or money?
Love, obviously.
Nice one. Book or audiobook?
Book,
cool. Are you reading anything good at the moment?
What have I read a while ago? I read one which was a really good one on holiday, which was about the guy who did the Auschwitz tattooist of Auschwitz. I don't know if you've seen it advertised. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's about this Jewish guy who's in Auschwitz, and he ended up being the tattooist, and his story about how he fell in love with his partner and how he got out and escaped. It's absolutely brilliant.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So you don't necessarily read something to do with marketing. You're quite varied in what you...
Oh God, no! I can't read business books or inspirational books or coaching books or anything like that. My attention span just doesn't. If I read them at night, I end up half the night then with ideas. Yeah.
Cool. So, what would you say is the best thing that you own?
Oh, my hair straighteners.
Hair straighteners, okay. And what's the best thing that you don't own?
Oh, that's a silly question. I don't know. A jet ski. I'd like a jet ski.
Right, okay. Is that to go out on Blackpool Pier?
Yeah, it'd be quite good fun, wouldn't it? Like, I wonder if you could get to like Isle of Man or something.
You could try, I suppose. Yeah. Good luck with that. When you go for it, let me know and I'll come and photograph it for you. So you mentioned a little bit about your own journey. Can you just go a bit deeper? Let us know. I think it's fair to say you've had quite a difficult route into business. Can you just give us a little bit of a backstory on yourself?
Yes, certainly. So I was in my final year at university, sort of 21, 22 years old. I did a degree in English literature.
Cool.
I have to be honest, I did my degree because I needed £9,000 for a deposit for a house, not because I actually wanted a degree.
Right.
So as I came to the end of it, I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So I was actually going to go into financial services, go and be a mortgage advisor. That was my initial plan. Started getting prepared for interviews, finding, decent clothes to go and wear for an interview, and was struggling as a bbigger, busted, sort of slim girl to find a button that modestly covered me up without anything popping out.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea came from. And so I went to the internet, had a look round, and Googled blouses for big boobs and sort of got through a couple of pages of inappropriate results before finding people who actually sold what I was looking for. But all I could find was stuff kind of older people, Bravissimo, which is great, but it was quite expensive and for like my nan type age group. And I wanted kind of top shop for big boobs. So I quickly discovered there was nothing out there. So I looked to see how big the market was, and I discovered that about 350,000 people a year were having boob jobs before you'd even started on naturally busty people.
Yep.
When you factor in obviously sort of obesity and people getting bigger, I realised that it was a market that was getting bigger and bigger, not declining, but yet nobody was servicing it. So I just started off with one blouse in 3 colours. I made that sound really easy. It was a really difficult process in terms of getting the prototypes manufactured, getting a website, getting them to market. And at first, when I went live with my website, I expected that I'd switch on the next day and there'd be hundreds of orders that had come in from magically from nowhere.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think this happens with a lot of businesses. They kind of don't really think about how people are going to get to your website. They just think that the Google magic thing happens. So after about a week or so, no orders, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, no orders. Somebody told me about Google Analytics, and obviously I hadn't heard of that at that point. Had a look at my website traffic, discovered that only 3 people had actually been to my website.
Right,
my mum, my dad, and my gran.
Yep.
And then that's when I realised that actually my website was in the middle of a field, in the middle of a valley, in the middle of a country with 0 population, and nobody knew it was there.
Yes.
And that's when I had to learn about marketing and learn how people get to your website, because I'd kind of naively thought that people just, once you get a website, you publish it and just by magic people find it. And obviously that came as a hard lesson to me that really isn't what happens.
Yeah.
But actually I think that is still what a lot of people think, because people contact me and say the same sort of thing now. So I had to learn about SEO, about how to get on Google, about social media, about Twitter, about pay-per-click, Facebook advertising. So I had to learn all that from the ground up. And before I realised it, one sale became 5, 5 became 50, 50 became 500. And before I knew it, I had quite a substantial range of products, and that I was bootstrapping as money came in. I got an inquiry then from a major high street brand for wholesale. Ended up wholesaling and getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
And then I guess the crux point came when before I went on Dragon's Den was when I supplied quite a big order to Jane Norman, and I turned on the TV when about £300,000 worth of stock was on its way over from China, to find that they'd gone into administration.
Right, okay.
And although I was very, very quickly able to salvage that, I relabeled it and sold it not much more than cost price to another retailer, but I didn't make money out of it, and that came as a warning of having all my eggs in one basket.
Yes.
So that's when I started to think I need to really do more of the B2C, more of the website sales, because at the time it was only accounting for maybe $100,000 of sales, out of quite a lot. So that's when I went to Dragon's Den, and I wanted people to see the website address and whilst on the TV, and maybe get some investment too. I got private investment after the show because it was a far better deal. I ended up giving away only 40% for £250,000, as opposed to like 70% for 75,000 or whatever daft it was in the den. Reshored everything back from China, so we had a factory in Preston, grew it. It was about 60% in the end B2C through e-commerce, and the other 40% was wholesale through sort of national accounts. Grew that until 2015 when I had my little boy, and I unfortunately separated from my husband during that time, and for personal reasons it was no longer what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a step back and take some maternity time out. Yeah. So sold the company sort of early 2015, took some maternity leave, got really bored after a few months. I intended to take 2 years. And then ended up just working in normal sort of senior management roles in a couple of companies, and then started my agency in 2017.
Right, cool.
And this is now, and I guess a lot of it was from when I had my business. Although I started off doing the marketing for the first few years, when we started getting quite big, we ended up getting an agency in because it was too much for me to do on my own. But I was always disappointed with these agencies. They never sort of seemed to understand commercial acumen. So they would say something. They would say to me, "Oh, look, for example, you've sold 100 bras at £30 each, and you've only spent £2,500 on marketing." And I'd be thinking, but I don't have 100% margin. I've only got a 30% margin. So actually I've made a loss. Yeah. But nobody seemed to understand that. They just looked at my sales price and how many I'd sold for how much marketing I'd spent. And they go, "Oh, look, you've made loads of money out of it." And it used to irk me that they just have no concept of the fact that there was a cost of goods associated with these items. Yeah. And so we went through a few different agencies. There was never any accountability. There was never any visibility. It was always kind of farmed out to a junior intern for £2,000 or £3,000 a month that we were paying. And I wanted to create an agency that was a little bit different. And I guess that's kind of what I've tried to develop now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so basically you're offering all the skills that you've sort of acquired with working with FTSE 100 companies to small businesses and startups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So could you give us a bit more information about Business Academy? I know you run your own sort of training events, you do bespoke one-to-one training. Can you just give us a little bit more information, please?
Yeah, no, definitely. So it's designed for people who at the entry price point, the 2 hour kind of masterclasses are only sort of between £35 and £50, depending on where in the UK it's being held, and they're sort of intensive, practical, the sorts of things that I know as a business owner when I had my factory and my fashion brand, people wanted and needed to know.
Yeah.
Because I know you've probably been to so many events where you've come out at the end and gone, death by PowerPoint. I don't really know how to actually do it.
Yes.
And so with my events, we actually do it. We actually log into Facebook and step by step, we create an advert, we create audiences, we create it, we go into analytics, my own analytics, and show people how we look at the results. And I'm completely transparent because I've got nothing to hide. Whereas, maybe some people don't want to show their own analytics because they don't want to show that actually they're not doing that well themselves. Or there's a lot of people who do Facebook advertising or Facebook courses. They don't want to show their own business manager because then everyone would see how few clients they really have or how much they're not really that spend. Because I've got absolutely nothing to hide. It's fully transparent. We go around my own business manager and look at what I'm spending, how I'm doing it, what sort of results we're getting, showing people how I've got that particular result. And it's absolutely hands-on and showing people so that they can go away and remember and do it for themselves. And so that's the entry sort of point of sort of £40 to £50. People who have a little bit more to spend, we've got full day events, which are full 9 till 5, showing them everything from SEO, copywriting, metadata, keyword research, how to do Google Analytics, and then through to your social media and your Facebook ads. And then for those who want more in-depth training, we do sort of half day training, which is £300 for half a day. It doesn't matter whether or not you've got one person or 10. Some people like to share the cost with like a neighbouring business to keep the cost down.
Yeah.
So we just go in half a day and bespoke sort of training, showing them how to set everything up, how to set the pixel up, and get them ready. We actually sit there and we create the ads with them, and so talk them through how to do it. Right, and sometimes that's kind of, it's like, give a man a fish kind of thing. Teaching them how to do it themselves, it might be a bigger expense, a one-off expense, but hopefully they can manage self-sufficiently then for the next 6 to 12 months.
Yes, yeah. So social media seems to be the key strategy in your business, if you will, specifically Facebook. Why do you think that businesses should be leveraging Facebook over other forms of advertising, such as your Twitters, your Instagrams, etc.?
Maybe because the platform for Facebook is so mature in terms of its advertising, its algorithms, how clever it is in terms of its targeting. Yes, Twitter does do ads, but the kind of more top funnel, the kind of awareness ads, you can't go to the same sort of in-depth analysis on people and targeting and how to get people from A to B in terms of the process to buy on Twitter anywhere near as what you can on Facebook. So on Facebook, obviously you've got your retargeting. You can retarget your own website traffic. You've got your pixel. You can even upload your email database, email addresses, and target to those people. So there's so much more. Whereas obviously with Twitter and LinkedIn, it's a lot more primitive. It's nowhere near as developed as what Facebook is at this point.
Yeah, cool.
And obviously everybody's on Facebook. There is some arguments saying, there are some sort of schools of thought who think that Facebook are reaching saturation point and that Instagram's going to be the next thing and people should start stepping away from Facebook. Don't forget Facebook owns Instagram. Having those closely connected. Facebook's also just acquired WhatsApp. So there's going to be a whole new level of opportunity where you can create ads that divert people straight into your WhatsApp to convert them.
Yeah.
And
social.
Also,
have you seen this? Are you on Social Chain's WhatsApp group? They've got a really good one where they send you out a thing every week, and it's so amazing because you just ignore emails now, don't you? But if something comes into your WhatsApp group, it's
Absolutely.
like you're instantly there, aren't you? And it's a bit scary. Even you're saying it's owned by Facebook, and everybody's saying, "Oh, I don't want to be on Facebook," but then they're sat there on Instagram. and WhatsApp. It's crazy the way
And
that it's going.
so few people leveraging WhatsApp for business. So
Mm.
few people who are doing it. But also as well, the beauty of that. I mean, you might do lead forms or have a lead submission on your website where people submit their email address and the phone number. 90% of the time, it's sometimes an email address they haven't used for years, or a phone number they've missed a digit somewhere, or they've not quite. If it's a WhatsApp and it's active, you know that that's their phone number that they're currently using. I mean, you can't
Yes.
get more quality data than that.
Yeah. 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 Cool. So yeah, your CV is obviously fairly impressive. You set up a number of companies, work for FTSE 100 companies. It's also full of awards. You've had Small Business of the Year, Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and a NatWest Business Award to your name. What would you say is your greatest achievement in business?
I guess beating all those people to get on Dragon's Den was pretty pretty amazing. I never obviously expected when I submitted the application to get through, and they leave it quite a long time as well. So it's like I think nearly a year between submitting the application and then hearing back from them. So you end up assuming, I mustn't have been successful. I've never heard anything, and then out of the blue you get a phone call. Can you come in for a screen test next week? Like it goes from nothing to like super intense, like tomorrow, next week, like literally from having your screen test to filming. It's like a couple of weeks.
Right, wow.
And having not heard anything at all for quite a long time. And I mean, I don't know whether or not they do that deliberately to catch you by surprise so that you're not over prepared. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm guessing if every single person went on that show having had 6 months to prepare, you wouldn't get any casualties, and therefore it wouldn't be very good entertainment.
Yes.
So maybe that's part of the plan. But obviously, there's been so many, getting into sort of high street accounts, getting an investor. I work with businesses now, and they come and they go, I really want to get investment, and they might only want 50 grand or 10 grand, and yet they can take a year, 2 years, 3 years, banging on doors and keep getting turned away. So I feel incredibly lucky that I got £250,000 quite easily.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I didn't realise at the time how significant that was until I started seeing other people trying to get investment.
Yeah.
And now I've realised that actually I was probably quite lucky. But also as well with the awards, I mean, touch wood, we have an accolade, so we've never once, whether it be for myself or for clients, ever submitted an award application that hasn't at least been resulted in being shortlisted as a finalist.
Wow, that's impressive.
So we've literally never submitted one that's amounted to nothing. So I don't know whether or not we're just really good at writing applications, whether it be Dragon's Den, whether it be PR, whether it be for awards. But yeah, the awards and the Dragon's Den getting the investment are obviously massive.
Yes, nice one. And what would you say the future holds for you? What's your end goal?
So we're hoping to take the so at the moment obviously we have these events, the in-person events, but that's obviously bound by locations. There's parts of the country we can't get to that we don't hold events in. People who say, have you got one in Huddersfield, have you got one in Glasgow? And obviously I can't hold events in every single pocket of the UK. So we want to move into online and move into online programs. So I'm currently developing a subscription-based model, which is sort of a fairly low subscription price. It might be sort of between £10 and £20 a month. You can cancel at any time, that gives you that kind of support as a startup on how to do your ads, how to do your PR, how to do your SEO. And that way it makes it more accessible. It doesn't matter whether you're in the UK, it doesn't matter if you only have literally a tiny budget of 20 quid, you can get some value out of it and it's somebody who has been there and done it, got the awards, been on the telly, not just somebody who went on a course themselves and now is delivering courses too.
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a few people popping up on LinkedIn that are experts at certain things, aren't they, that were 2 weeks ago they were experts in something else, and it's always that sort of shady thing. I think there's a lack of trust certainly in agencies and that kind of thing, where everybody's sort of job hopping, if you will, trying to get the next big book kind of thing, and there's no actual skill involved in it.
Yeah, and you've probably seen the adverts on Facebook, how I scaled to an 8-figure agency in 2 weeks and how you can do it too. And there's a lot of them that do it, and they've probably been on a course, and that's, it's a recognisable formula for, they start off with the same story. I was down and out, I was struggling, and then I did this, and then I was successful, and this is how you can do it too for £2,000.
Yeah.
It's a formula that's, it's quite tired now, but people nonetheless still part with the £1,000-3,000 for these courses, and I wanted something that I mean, yes, I could go and do that too, but I didn't want that. I wanted one that was low value, high value, low price, where people could just not be afraid to commit to, no one's going to be too afraid to commit to £10-20 as what they might be for £1,000 or £2,000.
Yeah.
So I take all the risk really. If there's no value with it, they would just cancel after the first month, only having spent 20 quid.
Cool. So nearly there. What's the one piece of advice you'd give to people?
is learn marketing, even if you are in engineering, even if you're in IT, even if you're got a gym or yoga or something that's completely unrelated to marketing. Learn how to do marketing, because once you know how to do marketing, you can do it. You can apply it to any business and to any product or any service. You can always find a job, because there's always a job for somebody who knows how to market and create sales. You can, even if you decide actually this business isn't for me, I'm going to go and make candles next week, you can market that too, because you know how to do it. The same principles apply. You can help other people with it. Once you know how to market, even if you choose not to actually do it yourself and outsource it, it gives you that power and that to know. If you know how to market, you know how to hold somebody to account for their marketing.
Yes, yeah, cool.
So if you're using an agency but you've no idea what marketing is, how it works, you can't challenge what they're doing. You can't. You're blindfolded.
Yeah, you're
powerless.
quickly bent over a barrel,
trust that they're
aren't you?
doing it right.
Yeah, cool. And final question: where can people find you online? Where's the best place to connect with you?
So you can obviously connect me on LinkedIn, Nikki Hesford, and my website is nikkihesford.co.uk. You can see all of the events if there's one in your area, book, pay online if you want to do that. Obviously Facebook, Nikki Hesford Business Academy. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on everything. So yes, just search my name, you'll find it.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Nikki.
No worries, thank you very much.
And that's it for today's episode of Creative Crossover. I hope you've enjoyed my conversation there with Nikki. If you have, please do shout about it on social media. It really helps us grow. And also, if you could leave us a review on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you're listening, that'd help us as well. Thank you very much. Goodbye.